Something I like doing is sharing. Well, I don't like doing it. Is sharing some of the mistakes I've made along the way. And one of my most recent boo-boos is that I did not realize the significance of PhD thesis proposal. So this is kind of story time. So it depends on your university what the procedure is. But mine, in computer science, this is all my experience. So I got my thesis committee. I did a handshake deal many years ago that if I pursued a PhD thesis, that this one particular person would be on it. But I did the formal thing and do the invites and got my committee together, got all my requirements together. But the one little piece that I didn't realize I needed was my proposal. It's like that little fine print, that little bit that you just kind of ignore. Well, I didn't think about it. Now, I wrote a proposal, and, this is what I'm thinking of doing. And my advisor, bless his heart, because, he redirected me to what I needed to do. And a thesis proposal, a PhD thesis proposal, is basically your final dissertation draft. That's the best way I could put it. But it's not a draft where, there's a whole bunch of shit that needs to be filled in, but it is, but it isn't. I've already gotten publications, so that filled up, one of the chapters. So in a dissertation for computer science, for me, for computer science at UMass Lowell, you have the introduction, then you have your papers and a conclusion. Now, the introduction gives you an idea of the whole research project. All those papers that you publish, how does it all contribute to you becoming a doctor? And the final conclusion brings it all back together. Now, the abstract of it all, granted, there isn't, there is a plan to finish those other papers and get them out. Like, I do have one that I will be submitting in a couple of days, maybe. Anyways, but the thing that I didn't understand, the feeling it would give me, being able to put all of everything that I'm working on to get to that point in a single document. Now, before, I thought the proposal was that you just say what you're going to do, what you've done, and how you get there. That's good and fine. But when you go through the process of actually putting that dissertation document together and having a whole overview of everything that you're working on, it puts a burden of proof on you that this is what I'm going to do, and you have to do it. So it also helps to give that confidence in your ability to do this when you stand up there and say, this is what I am, this is my big idea, this is what I've done, this is what I'm gonna do, and it's not about, one of the things that my advisor did say, it's not about the groundbreaking science or anything at that moment. It's about you believing in your ability to get to the finish line, you having proof already, and you being able to feel that you will deliver that last blow. Okay, when I said that, I thought of Muhammad Ali. You know, when you deliver that first punch and you know, okay, I'm not a boxing pro, but I just thought, I have the proof and the confidence that I can knock this shit out of, you know, wherever. I'm not a sports fan, so I suck at this. But that PhD thesis proposal, it gives you that, it gave me, it's giving me that added belief in my ability, okay? Because it'll be a lot easier to defend than having just a document saying this, and this. But I have the almost final thing where this is what I'm going to do, and you commit to that. So I really hope this helped, okay? There are other things about this whole thesis, PhD thesis proposal that, you know, I learned, you know, as a computer scientist, I never really used LaTeX for my documents. I always use Microsoft, and for my last paper I submitted, that's what I used. But that was another thing that my advisor suggests, and I did that. I'm telling you, there's a big difference, okay? I am gonna do another video on that, showing my screen and all of that. But, you know, having that document, you know, that dissertation document in LaTeX format, it divides things up. You know, your formatting is already set. You're not worrying about how this is gonna look, blah blah blah. You spent time doing your formatting, and then you're focusing in on each part. So say I'm working on chapter 2, actually it's chapter 3, that's my second paper, that I'll be submitting in the next week or so. That paper sits in chapter 3, so I'm only looking at that one chapter document. You know, I've broken it, and that's another thing, it gives you the freedom to break things down so that you can focus in on what it is you're working on. So for now, actually, as of today, I need to write the introduction, the conclusion. Well, in this case, okay, this is not scripted, okay? I thought of sitting there and writing a script and everything, but the whole purpose of learning from my journey is that you're gonna get the uncut version, all right? So, I have a number of other papers. I'm only required to do 2, but because of what I'm working on, I feel like it will take up multiple papers to really get to the meat of it. So I also need to sit and ponder how I'm gonna break things up. I've already broken it down into small pieces, but that ends up with like 8 papers, and that doesn't include some additional things that I've thought about. So there are papers I haven't written yet that I have plans to write, and I need to figure out how, you know, is the breakdown I have the right way to do it. You know, it doesn't have to be perfect at this point, but the idea is to finish this research and as I go along, write these papers. So that's part of the puzzle that's not finished, that will be finished. And then in the conclusion is, as a proposal, you need to put what is your contribution to computer science? You know, what am I contributing? And then list what I am going to do that contribution. At this point, that's that part. Now, the introduction, I need to introduce the problem, and there's some other things. Talk about what it is I'm doing. But in the abstract, in the intro, all those papers, the papers that are done, paper that's done, the paper being written, the papers to be done, I need to make a good ball of it and explain that in the intro, what it is I'm trying to do. In the abstract, which is the first thing that people read, is, you know, I need to deliver what problem am I trying to fix, and also what will I do to contribute to computer science, whether it's an algorithm, an idea. I'm going to leave it at that. Okay, I'm sure there's more that you can find elsewhere about what to put in your abstract, but this is my experience. I'm studying computer science because for some reason, when I started as an undergrad, I think I was an accounting major, and I took that first C programming course, and my Professor Cooper, he was my first CS advisor. He made an analogy between a recipe and an algorithm. And of course, we're going over a cookie recipe, and that got my attention. And let's just say, I've been cooking code since. And that was a couple of decades ago. Anyhow, so I've done my undergrad in computer science. I've done my master's in computer science. And now my PhD is in computer science, where I am trying to contribute something new. And after my proposal defense, I'm hoping around the 20th.
Halfway point, 18 minutes.
Yes, I was running around and I forgot to turn it off. Anyhow, so after my proposal defense, which is a public event, I probably will do a video on what it is I'm trying to do. I'm not trying, I am doing. So, thank you for watching. I hope you made it to the end. I will be creating a video about creating a latex template, a latex class for your PhD thesis. A lot of universities offer one, or you can always find one online and alter it, but it would be interesting to see. So I'll show you mine. I will go through and build and post a video on here. I'll probably do that today, but for now, this is my experience with realizing that the PhD thesis proposal is crucial. My advisor, also said that, this is something, doing proposals are important, if you're doing funding and all these different things. But for me, it was, it made things real, okay? It made things very real in that I am going to be committing to doing these things. You know, I'm going to be publicly defending my idea, and I will be committing to finishing this thing. So I hope you enjoyed my little talk. All right. And if you're pursuing a PhD in computer science, bless your heart. Enjoy the ride, the journey. Thank you for watching.